Hey everyone, Crow here, and I know I haven't been making much content for this channel recently. That's actually why I've been live streaming on Sundays once a week, just so I could get something out on this channel. I honestly thought I'd be making more videos, but I guess that didn't really work out the way I thought it was going to. But I'm wondering, like, what should I do on this channel? What should I do on this channel? And I was walking the dog one day, and I was listening to a podcast. I often, walk the dog and listen to a podcast at the same time. And it just occurred to me a few days ago. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Why don't I do a podcast? But the problem is I don't really know much about the creation and distribution of a podcast or, anything podcast related. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make like a podcast like video for this channel here. So something you could listen to, you don't need to watch, but if you do watch, there might be something up on the screen that you can, visual representation of a game I'm playing or an item I'm talking about, something like that. And I figured maybe down the line, if I do this like once a month and it works out as good as I hope it does, then maybe I can think about converting the videos to an actual podcast and figure out how to publish it as an actual podcast. Now, I did come up with this idea like 3 or 4 days ago, and I want to get this first episode out within the next couple days, but I didn't really know what to call this. So I guess for the time being, we'll just call it the Crow Continuum Podcast. Maybe that's what the permanent name will be. Who knows? But from the other podcasts I've listened to, the one thing I know I need is a theme. So let's start.
Recorded on July 2nd, 2023. The Crow Continuum.
All right, so I used to have a theme song here. I wound up cutting it out. I could go into details why next time, but the long and short of it is I was under the impression I could use a song, and when I uploaded the video, that song got copyright identified, and even though I wouldn't have gotten a strike or anything, it enabled revenue sharing, and that's something that really annoyed me. So I'm taking it out and I'm replacing it with this voiceover. Pretend there's a theme here. I'll figure something out next time and we'll just move on. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that I know I mentioned what the date was. Right now it's July 2nd, 2023. And I haven't actually made the opening yet, but I kind of want the date to be said during the opening. And the reason for that is, like, out of all the podcasts I've listened to, none of them say what date they're recording on. And you think that, they don't need to say the date. If you look at the description or look at when it's posted, that'll give you an idea what the date is. Except when I go back and I find a new podcast, sometimes I want to start from the very beginning and listen to all the episodes in a row. And when I'm doing that, I'm not physically looking at anything. I'm just listening to it. And if they don't mention the date, which I don't think anybody ever has, and they start talking about something that's currently relevant, I have no idea, like what point in time, their perspective is. Like, I was listening to a podcast recently, and they were talking about the Atari games buried in the desert and how they were going to dig them up. But we all know how that ended, but I have no idea. Obviously, they recorded that podcast before they dug up those Atari games. But how long before? It would have been nice to know that information, or at least a date, or sometimes even a year would be helpful. So that's why for every single one of these, I want to say the date, at least in the beginning of each of these episodes, just so if you're just listening, you have some sort of time reference of when I'm recording this. So I want to elaborate a little bit more on what I plan on doing here. I want to do one of these around once a month. If I'm not going to stick to a strict schedule. If I want to do one earlier, I'll do one earlier. And if I want to postpone one a little bit longer because I just don't have the time, I'll do that. I just don't want to go months and months and months without putting anything up on this channel like I have been doing. I want to put an end to that. Now, in each of these episodes, I plan on talking about at least one main topic where it may come from, maybe from the news or suggestions somebody might put in the comments, or, any number of places. And it doesn't have to be just one topic. It could be a couple. Who knows? I'm not planning on having any specific length. It's just the length of this is going to be whatever the length of it's going to be. It might be long. It might be short. I guess once I get into a good rhythm, we'll find out. But since this is the first episode, I thought it'd be good to talk about why I started this YouTube channel to begin with in 2006. This is the Crow Continuum, or just Crow Continuum now. It actually originated as Crow 111. And again, I'll save all of that information for the story a little bit later on. But yeah, why I started the channel in the first place and how I got to this point right now to where I'm thinking, maybe a monthly podcast like video might be the way to go in this future, just to, so I can remain talking about stuff on this channel. And I'll get all into that later. But I also plan on having other segments, and one of those would probably be responding to questions and comments. So yeah, go ahead and leave your whatever you want in the comments below. And if I keep doing this and it does wind up becoming in an actual audio podcast, maybe I'll come up with a separate email that people can also email in. We'll figure that out, in due time if it becomes necessary. But also, it's just got me thinking that I need to get better on responding to comments on other videos as well, because I see each comment I get. I see them all. They all come through my email, and I'll see all my emails, and then I'll think to myself, oh, I need to respond to that later. And then 3 months will go by before I realize, oh man, I never responded to that. I just need to go in and go into the YouTube studio, look under the comments, and just go through the line and read them all and comment. But that just happens so infrequently. That's why sometimes it could take me weeks and sometimes months to respond to comments. But with this in particular, I think it'll just be, I will definitely be responding to ones I want to within the time frame between episodes, just because I will need to. But also, before we get into this main topic of my whole YouTube story, there's a couple things I want to take care of first. And the first of those is pickups. I used to do pickup videos all the time, and I just kind of stopped doing that. And part of the reason for that is I just don't buy as many games as I used to. There's really nothing to really talk about. But even the stuff that I do buy, I just wind up not making a video for it, because I'd be like, well, who's interested in just hearing that, hey, I bought this and that's it? But in fact, I'm kind of going the opposite direction, and I'm selling a lot of my collection. And the funny thing is, the more of it I sell, the more of it I want to continue selling. Like things that I pulled off the shelf and things I've kept on the shelf, I've said, no, I'm not going to sell that. I'll sell the stuff that I pulled out to sell, and then I'll look at that again. I was like, well, I don't really miss the stuff I sold, so maybe I will sell this. My collection is pretty much shrinking at an exponential rate. Actually, it would shrink even faster if I would just continually keep posting stuff on eBay, but it takes me even a long time just to do that. My wife can do it in no time flat. She could list like 100 things in a day, and it takes me like 2 weeks to list 20 things. She just does it all on her phone. Here I am taking like 20 pictures of everything and looking up prices and all that other stuff. Again, I'm going too deep into something I should probably save for another time if I want to talk about it, because that could be a whole other thing in its own. But I did pick up some other stuff that I thought I'd talk about here. And the first is I picked up this Elgato HD60X. And the funny thing about this box, I just thought it was weird that there was a little pull tab on the top that I had to rip off first. And then it's a regular box underneath. And I'm like, well, I wonder why they did that. I mean, did they really need to have this pull tab just to prove that the box was opened? I don't know. I thought it was kind of goofy. And it's not like all of Elgato stuff that does this. I have an Elgato Stream Deck. Maybe it did have a pull tab. I don't remember. This time it just kind of struck me as odd if I did run across it before. Maybe it's because I actually am talking about this. But I did buy a capture device. This is an external capture device, even though I already had an Elgato HD Pro. I think it's HD60 Pro. It's an internal card. And I had that for years and years and years. But it's been causing me some problems recently. And it's been causing specifically problems when I try to capture footage from the Evercade. Because a lot of times when we're capturing footage from the Evercade, the audio sync will start off completely off, and then it'll kind of, come back in sync, and then it'll go out of sync, and it'll come back in sync and out of sync. And I've tried a whole bunch of stuff with that card to try and keep it in sync totally, because it becomes very difficult to create, the footage that I want to if I have to keep going in and editing the audio to be in sync every time I make a video, and it just takes up time. So I was initially looking at maybe getting a cheaper capture card, but I started looking at $10 capture cards, and I was like, should I get a $10 capture? Should I get a $20 capture? And then it started going 30, 40, 50. And I'm like, it finally got to the point as this is a highly regarded capture device. I might as well spend $180 and get this. So I don't know how that happened. So basically, what's funny is I still have the other capture card in the computer. I have my HDMI going into this, and that's coming out of this and going into the capture card in my PC. And I can actually capture the same footage twice if I wanted to. And I tested it out, and it seemed to work just fine. And then I went and captured another video, and then I was editing it, and the audio sync was off. I was like, oh man, the audio, so I guess this didn't work either. And then I went to go capture something else, and I realized that I would normally use OBS to capture footage, but it was kind of acting a little weird. So I was like, let me use the actual 4K capture utility that Elgato provides. And I was trying to use that. And then when I went back into it to adjust the settings, I realized that I never actually switched it. It never switched permanently to this capture device. Instead, it was still capturing from the other capture device. So I guess I never really tested this out. I did pick up some other stuff. I'm buying a lot more digital games. I am getting way more into PC gaming than I almost ever have been in the past, to the point where I don't even care about playing on consoles anymore. But let's just run through the games I've picked up so far during this Steam Summer Sale. It looks like the first one here is Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition. I actually saw somebody else purchase this, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember Bulletstorm. That was a game I always wanted, and I never bought, so I bought it. I don't know if this might be one of those games I might never play. Who knows? I'm not really that into first-person shooters anymore, but this one I remember looked really cool at the time. It looks there's also like a Duke Nukem DLC for it as well. So, that looks, I might have to try this at least once. What's the price on this now during the Steam Summer Sale? It is only $3.99. Full Clip Edition. Does it include DLC? Actually, I think I bought the DLC separately as well, because it was $3.99 for the main game. And then the DLC for the Duke Nukem's Bulletstorm Tour is only $1.24. So yeah, why not? Next game I wound up buying, Crosscode. I just kind of looked at this. I think this is another, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how this wound up in my wish list, but I got so many games in the wish list that when I look in, Steam now will sort your wish list by the price of the games or how much of a discount there is on the games. So this wound up near the top of the list, and it looks like an overhead type game. I don't know if it's a run and gun shooter. It's the action RPG, pixel graphics, puzzle. So yeah, it looked really interesting, and 70% off at $5.99. I just went ahead and threw it in the cart. What's funny is I only bought a fraction of the stuff I originally threw in the cart, because I was going through and throwing this stuff in the cart like crazy. And I looked at the total, and the total was over $200. I thought, no, that ain't happening. And I cut out a lot of stuff I had in the cart. I was like, I'll buy that stuff later. There's no way I can even play all the games that I wound up buying anyway. Next up, I wound up buying Streets of Rage 4. This is something I had physically on the Switch. I bought through Limited Run Games. But what I've been doing is, if there's games on Steam that I already have physically, I'm selling the physical version, because I'd rather play games on PC now. I don't know what it is. I just got hooked on playing games on PC ever since I got an ultra-wide monitor. And even though some of these games, don't even support an ultra-wide monitor, I just got totally into playing on PC. I don't know why. It's just something triggered. But we're looking at it. It's 50% off, $12.49. I also bought the DLC content that went with it. Actually, the bundle. I bought the bundle together. Streets of Rage 4 and Mr. X Nightmare. 55% off altogether, $14.83. This next one I bought, Buddy Simulator 1984. I bought it just because it seemed like a completely odd premise. It's a psychological horror game, apparently. I don't know much about it. I just saw the trailer, and it looked perfectly bizarre. 60% off, $3.99. Now, this is a game that I saw somebody else purchase, and that's what I love about the activity tab on Steam. You can see whatever people have been buying, and if it's the Steam Summer Sale and you see people have been buying games, you know that almost 100% for sure that those games are on sale. So I clicked on Buddy Simulator 1984. That sounds weird. And I clicked on it and I looked at the trailer. I was like, yeah, I'll throw this in my cart. The next one I wound up buying was Atari Mania. I don't know if I think I might have bought a physical version of this through limited run games and it still hasn't come. And that's the thing, is I'm still getting games from limited run games that I purchased like a year ago that I no longer want. So I'm like immediately getting these packages, opening them, and then putting them on eBay because I don't want them anymore. That's how quickly like I kind of changed my perspective on things, where I'd rather just have the PC digital version rather than a physical version on console. But what's odd is that I heard good things about this, but I see that it's got mixed reviews. I'm not 100% sure why. I never actually did read the reviews. I just knew that this seemed interesting enough to where I wanted it, but I was going to pay full price for it. Is 33% off, and I figured, I usually wait for 50% or more, but I figured, that's good enough, and I paid $16.74 for it. And then there was this other game, Luck Be a Landlord. I don't know why this kept popping up, but it did wind up in my wish list at one point. It is a roguelike deck builder, apparently, and I like roguelike games, so it says roguelike. Is there a difference between roguelike and roguelite, or is that somebody was one of these wrong? Roguelike, is that wrong, or is roguelike? I'm saying the words too much, and I'm running out of ways to pronounce them. So, anyway, it's that type of game. It's got very positive reviews, and normally $10 is 40% off. I think I just bought the game. I didn't buy the game and soundtrack bundle. In fact, that's kind of bizarre. I just bought the game itself for $5.99. And usually the soundtrack doesn't cost that much more, but for whatever reason, the soundtrack to this game, would bump, even on sale, would bump the price up like another $4. No, $5, in fact. It goes from $5.99 to $10.86. Why is the soundtrack costing as much as the game? I don't know. And maybe when I do play this game, I'll find out. Maybe it's a really good soundtrack and I'll wish I'd bought it, and I will wind up buying it. But a lot of times I will just buy the soundtrack for these games because it doesn't really cost that much more to do so. It usually costs like $1 more, but not $5 more. But yeah, it seems like a really interesting, really weird game, Luck Be a Landlord. Next up is one that I was actually eyeing quite a long time, and that's River City Girls. Kind of takes the River City Ransom premise and kind of switches it around, where it's the girlfriends that need to rescue the boys in a side-scrolling beat-em-up type of game, and it seemed really cool. As soon as it went on sale, 50% off, I wound up throwing the cards like, this is a must-buy for me. I haven't played it yet. 50% off was $14.99. But I think it's going to be worth it. It's got very positive reviews. And I know there's a River City Girls 2. Don't think that's on Steam, though. Let me see if that is. No, it is on Steam. Why haven't I bought it? Oh, you know why I haven't bought it? For whatever reason, River City Girls 2 isn't on sale. It's $39.99. Maybe it's because it's not even a year old yet. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's not on sale. But I will probably buy that when it goes on sale. But looking forward to playing River City Girls. I might play that one sooner rather than later. And then there's Mr. Driller Drill Land. And I always kind of like the Mr. Driller games, and this one seems really good. It's got some sort of, elements to it, I guess, that are not in other Mr. Driller games. And I found out about it from a YouTube channel, Go Game Go, who put out a video on this. And it kind of crisscrosses different Namco properties at some points, from what I understand. It was 75% off, so $7.49. Yeah, so why not get Mr. Driller on the PC? There's, for me, no reason not to. Now, I don't know how I ran across this one initially, and this is People Playground. And it's a weird sandbox game where you basically throw people in these environments and then create these hazardous situations for them to be in. I'm sure if you're looking at the footage right now, this is the trailer. The trailer sold me on it.
a tank shooting a guy in the face, lasers shooting a guy, things exploding with people in them. And they're stick figures too, but it's very bloody. And it's also very cheap. It's 99 cents on sale, 90% off. The full game originally cost $10, $9.99. I was like, yes, I need to get this for 99 cents. And actually, this is one I did mess around with for a little while. It's a little bit confusing with all the keyboard keys and putting and how to work things. And there's certain things I haven't figured out how to do. I haven't figured out how to get people to hold weapons, or I don't even know if you can get the people to actually do anything, like run from hazardous situations or anything. Maybe that's something that they'll actually implement in the future if that's not something that is already in the game. This came out, 2019? So I guess it is already 4 years old at this point. Yeah, July 23rd, 2019 is when this came out. I found out about this recently, and it's just like, watching the trailer for it, I was like, wow, this looks like my kind of quote-unquote game. It's not even really a game. It's just, do what you want. But apparently there is, I think you can mod this game as well, which is something I really might look into as well, because it just looks crazy, insane what you can do in this game. All right. You know what? I saw this one in my games list that I purchased it, and I had no idea why. It's this Hypnospace Outlaw. I think I might have bought a bundle. Let's see here. No. Okay, there is a bundle. I didn't buy the bundle. Hypnospace Outlaw, 70% off. It was really $19.99. Was on sale for $5.99. Overwhelmingly positive reviews. This is a point-and-click adventure, but the whole aesthetic of the game looks like it's a really old game. That's what it looks like. Let's see here. What tags we got? 1990s simulation, point-and-click, retro, surreal. And I am into surreal, and this looks really surreal. I don't know how to explain it. If you're listening in and you're not actually watching this on screen at the moment, I would recommend just checking out the gameplay footage or anything, maybe even the Steam trailer for Hypnospace Outlaw. I don't know if I can explain it without playing it. Okay, another one, Broken Reality, 75% off. I paid $3.74 for this one. Very positive reviews. Oh, you know what it was? I think I bought this game in a bundle with Hypnospace Outlaw because it looks very similar to that. Yeah, there was 2 different bundles with Hypnospace Outlaw, and it was this one with Hypnospace Outlaw. Broken Reality and Hypnospace Outlaw is the bundle I bought. This is another surreal game. It's more of an adventure game. It doesn't say point and click, I think, but it looks like a first-person type game. It's really bizarre looking, and I'm into really bizarre games, so of course I was going to buy this and with the bundle. I don't see that anymore here, but this game right now by itself, $3.74. I probably said that already. So let's move on. And this is Reventure, the one and only non-linear adventure with 100 different endings. Just don't wishlist me. I'm not that expensive. Also, look at those reviews. Yes, all recent reviews, very positive. All reviews, overwhelmingly positive. A pixel graphic adventure indie game. Really don't know much about it, but it was extremely cheap. He says, look at the game's not that expensive. Regular price is $7.99, which for a game you don't really know anything about is not really something I think most people would spend $8 not knowing anything about a game. But at 80% for $1.59, I'll certainly purchase that not knowing anything about this game. So it says, explore a huge world as you gather new skills. Looks really interesting. So yeah, there's so many games I want to get into and play. And I guarantee you, a month will go by, and I will have barely looked at many of these games I'm mentioning. But next, it's not necessarily Goat Simulator, because I already own Goat Simulator, but there were 2 DLC packs I didn't have, and I wound up buying those. Goat Simulator Payday and Goat Simulator Waste of Space, each 80% off, 99 cents each. That's fine with me. I don't know much about these DLCs. I know Goat Simulator is a very odd game. So why not get the DLC for it? Yeah, I'm just looking at the trailer. If you're watching the video, you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. Now, this last one is one that wasn't in my wish list. In fact, I bought this one separately after I'd bought everything else because I saw it in my activity list as something somebody else bought and played. And I was like, the name of this game is so odd. I bought it on the name alone. It's Soda Drinker Pro. It says, the world's most advanced soda drinking simulator. It was originally $4.98, 73% off, on sale for $1.34. Yes, I'll buy a game called Soda Drinker Pro for $1.34 with very positive reviews. It looks like a first-person. The trailer video doesn't show the game at all, I don't think, but it's a very weird trailer. But I looked at the screenshots and I was like, oh yeah, that's what I would expect from a $1.34 first-person soda drinking game. Okay, what the hell is this? I'm looking at the screenshots now I never saw before. What is this? Oh, anyway, sorry. But I want to move on to games that I actually have been playing recently. This will probably be the only time I mention Pinball FX because obviously, yes, I'm playing Pinball FX. Every Wednesday on my Crow Pinball channel, I will stream a table in Pinball FX. So that's what I've been doing there. And I think the stream coming up this week, I think on the 5th of July, what's it going to be? Because, well, last week it was, somehow the My Little Pony table beat out the other 3 tables I had listed in there. I'm just curious, what is winning now on that? Oh, good. It's No Good Gophers. I was hoping that one would win. So more than likely this July 5th, I'll be streaming a No Good Gophers. But the real reason I'm bringing up Pinball FX here is because this is kind of a news deal. The Switch version is finally coming out on July 6th. So this Thursday, the Switch version. And I'm bringing this up because there was a video that they put out, Zen Studios put out last week, and I did a reaction video to that. But if you're unaware, the Switch version of Pinball FX, the reason it didn't come out at the same time as the other version is because they kind of have to rebuild the game for Switch, as far as I understand. They have to, I guess, lower the quality so it will run on Switch. But more surprisingly, they have to change the physics engine to get the game running on Switch at 60 frames a second. And I think it's important they do get it at 60 frames a second. So the Switch version is going to play differently than all the other versions. And they mentioned all the other platforms are cross platforms with leaderboards and stuff. The Switch version, nope, that's going to be in a league all its own just because the physics are going to be different. Which means that if you want to play Pinball FX on the go on the Switch and then want to come back and play on a console or PC, you're playing 2 different games, and because you're not going to be able... It might mess you up, actually, if you're used to the physics in one engine and you go play the other and it's different. So, maybe if you're only into the Switch, you'll not really care, but... I'm just going to try it out when it does come out just to see how different it is. But I can't imagine I'm going to be wanting to go in there and play it again and again and again, playing an inferior version of a game that it plays really well on my PC. I played a game at like 120, 140 frames a second in 1440p. I'm good. I don't think I could go any less than that. Another game I play like literally almost every day is Wreckfest. I know this game came out many years ago, but for some reason I didn't start really getting into it until a couple months ago. I don't know why. I think it might be just because when I built this computer like 2 years ago, and then I was kind of getting back into it. But then when I got the ultra widescreen monitor, I was on this game every day. And the reason I'm on this game every day is because there's a tournament mode type setting, and if you go in there, they have different events that go on, and 2 of the events change every day, and then another 2 events will change every other day, and then there's another event that lasts a week and another event that lasts a month, and they keep changing things out, and I like it because you're basically forced into a scenario that you have to play. You don't get to pick your car, and you don't get to pick the event, you don't get to pick your opponents. but you just try and get the a trophy. Usually, I always try to get the gold trophy unless it's just far too difficult. Very rarely it is, but I can't get a gold. But there's certain ones I won't get a gold on. That one mud pit arena, if it's like a demolition derby and it's in the mud pit arena, what they expect you to get a gold for, I find completely insane. Basically, you're forced to, in order to get the gold, you have to score a number of points. In order to score the points, you have to hit cars, but there's a multiplier, and that multiplier disappears if you go too long without hitting another car. And with the mud pit, you can't, get traction very well. So when you hit somebody, you wind up, unless somebody else is close to you, you're always going to run out of time with that multiplier. And I find it very frustrating. And usually I'll just settle for silver on that rather than drive myself crazy getting the gold. But then there's other ones, like the monthly events are usually a lot harder. Sometimes if I get the bronze on that, that's fine with me. But part of the reason I keep playing those events is because you earn these separate points from the regular game. You don't earn money, you earn these points that you could use to get vehicles that you can't get anywhere else. So I'm kind of saving up to get like the most expensive vehicle in that mode just so I can play that in the regular game. And when I've done with all the tournament events, sometimes I'll just go and play like a custom ruled game. I would like try and do as realistic damage as possible, just to put the AI as hard as possible, just to have fun with that. And this game is incredibly fun. It's my favorite. It might be my favorite game at the moment. If somebody asked me, what's your favorite game? I would have to say maybe Wreckfest, because it's just totally my type of game. And the physics of the cars, they just seem so dead on. All the cars feel like they have the appropriate amount of weight and everything. I have Forza 5 as well, and I've played that. But I don't think that has anything on Wreckfest. I know Forza 5 is way more popular, and there's like way more events in that, I think, especially when you add in all the DLC. And I've played it a bit. It's a fun game, but hell, I'd rather play Wreckfest. And I've also been playing Street Fighter 6, which surprised me because I haven't really been into a Street Fighter game since Street Fighter Alpha 2. That was a game I played a lot. And then ever since then, I may have bought a Street Fighter game, but I've not really played it a whole lot. Now, I haven't really been playing the quote-unquote actual fighting game mode of Street Fighter 6. Instead, all I've been playing is the World Tour mode, because I find that fascinating as hell. Create your own character, and then you have them go from place to place. Metro City is like the main area, and then every other area is kind of like the smaller version, except I just got to India, and for some reason that's a huge place all on its own. But yeah, you find the masters, which are the actual playable characters in the game, the main game. So like you'll run into Ken, Ryu, and who else did I run into? Chun-Li. And you train under them, and you can learn their moves. And then you can mix and match different moves as long as the button inputs don't overlap with one another. And it's just fun to just keep changing up your character and then fighting all these random people. Anybody that's got a level number over their head, you can fight. You could either fight them by, just inviting them to a fight, or you could just like punch them in the head, I suppose, and that'll start the fight too. It just seems so goofy, just walking up to a guy in the back and just punching him in the head. But yeah, the game lets you do that. But yeah, I've been having a blast with the World Tour mode of Street Fighter 6. So I'm going to keep playing that for quite some time, I think. All right, now this isn't really a game, but I saw a friend of mine playing, getting achievements from a game called Coloring Pixels. And I was like, that's interesting. And I looked it up, and the game was free to download. And I got hooked on it for some reason. It's just fun to like listen to YouTube videos or music or something like that and just, color by number pixels. It was just really fun to do that. And then like also recently I picked up a drawing tablet, and it's even better with that, to be fair. I bought the drawing tablet because I was editing pictures in Photoshop, and I was using the mouse to erase and color and stuff. I think this is stupid. Why don't I just get a drawing tablet? This was like this is like X Pen or something like that's brand. This was like $80 on Amazon, and I got the screen protector for free due to whatever deal they had. But then I used this a lot for Photoshop and coloring pixels. I don't know how I ever did without it. If you're into like Photoshop or anything, man, get a tablet if you don't have one. It's so much better than using a mouse. But yeah, I've been playing this for quite some time, and I'm still playing like free pictures. I figure when I run out of those, I'll start buying the DLC. There's tons of DLC for this game, obviously. And at full price, each DLC is only 99 cents. I added them all to my wish list and thinking that during the Steam Summer Sale, they'll all like go way down in price and maybe I'd just buy them all at once. But they only went down in price like 20 cents each. And I was like, I'm not going to buy all of these now. I'll just buy them one at a time as I need them, I suppose. So, yeah, coloring pixels. Not a game if you want to play a game. It's not really a game. It's the coloring book, basically. But it's relaxing. I would recommend trying it. It's free. You know, who knows? You might like it. And then there's this one. Also not really a game. Placid Plastic Duck Simulator. Basically just a plastic duck simulator. I can't remember. I have to look at the store page because I don't remember if this was a free game or if it was $2. Yeah, you have to buy it. It's a $2 game. That's why I bought it. I didn't mind, and you can't really do anything in the game. You can't control the ducks. You can't pick which ducks are going where or anything. You could basically, there's also DLC packs, and there's each DLC pack is $2 as well. Actually, if you were to buy the game for $1.69 right now, and all the DLC together for $7.96, you're paying less than $10 for everything the game has to offer. When you buy the main game, there's one location and a handful of ducks. And then there's 2 DLCs that are different locations. And then 2 more DLCs that add in additional ducks. But the thing is there's all these mysterious things going on in each of these locations. And the fun part is while you're just watching these ducks is watching all this bizarre stuff happen. And sometimes you can even find hidden locations like there's a door in the main location, the first location, what's it called? I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the regular pool or whatever. You can find this door on the back, and it's got a code on it, and you'll have to figure out what the code is if you want to get in there. The only thing I wish this game had would be a better free camera, because you can lock onto a duck and you can kind of move the camera all you want around the duck. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. And then you could set yourself onto separate hot spots, I guess, around the area. You can sit in a chair, and get a point of vantage view. But then when you right-click off the duck, the camera gets stuck in place, and you can't move it. I want the ability to be able to float the camera around wherever I want. And I'm thinking that maybe they didn't do that because it would be easier to find these secrets if you were able to do that. That's the only reason I can think of if they haven't done that on purpose. But I still kind of wish I could do that so I could get a better point view of what I want to look at instead of waiting for a duck to flow by, linking onto that duck, adjusting the camera, and then letting go of the duck. It seems kind of like a weird way to do it. But that's my one thing I kind of wish it had was just the ability to float the camera around freely however I wanted. But again, if you're actually looking for a game, Placid Plastic Duck Simulator won't be for you. But this is tantamount to one of those aquariums, the virtual aquariums. It's just, ducks floating in a pond. Just something to have on screen and just relax watching. Finally, I have been playing, obviously, Evercade games. I'm in the middle of Toaplan Arcade 2. There's 7 games on here. I've played 2 of them so far. I played Twin Cobra and Wardner. So I've got 5 more to go on that before I can even think about making a video for Toaplan Arcade 2. And these videos on the Evercade collections are what takes up a lot of time. That's where I spend a lot of my video editing time. And the reason I do it is because I like doing it. But not only that, but it's the only series where I get people commenting that they can't wait to see the next video. I get people messaging, when is the next video coming out? I'm like, well, I'll get to it as soon as I can. It might be like a month or two before I can, because I play all these games, and I've been playing them all from start to finish what I can, and using save states, of course, just trying to get to the end. So some of the games, like I play each game for at least an hour, and at most, oh man, I remember multiple hours. I think I played Cathedral for 9 hours. I think I had 9 hours of Cathedral when I was done with that. But yeah, I really like making the Evercade stuff, so that's going to continue, and that was part of the reason why there's really been nothing on this channel, and that's why I've been streaming stuff, because I could just take a timeout stream and be done with it. That's also why I started doing it on the Pinball channel as well. But the Pinball stuff we'll keep streaming. This channel will be this, I think. At least that's my current plan. I'm hoping it goes like that. All right, one of the last two things I'll talk about is Classic Game Room, the YouTube channel. Way back in like 2009, 2010, somewhere around that time, this was a channel I couldn't stop watching. In fact, this is one of the channels that convinced me, to actually get in front of the camera and talk about stuff. And that's where that Crow Plays series I had kind of originated, the kind of thing where it's like, oh, I'm going to talk about a game while I play it. But it was like Classic Gamer. I was like, oh, this guy can make videos, and I really like his videos. Why can't I make videos? That kind of thing. But over the years, Classic Game Room kind of disappeared. And I think mainly it was due to the fact that YouTube was like kind of, the monetization on YouTube was kind of screwing him over. And because this to him is a business, right? He's trying to make a living off of this. But more to the point, that wasn't just that YouTube was kind of screwing him over with the monetary stuff, but it was the fact that other channels were stealing his content without his permission and putting it in their videos, and they were making way more money based on the content they were stealing from him. And he was like, I can understand. He just kind of up and quit. The channel had changed from thing to thing. It changed to like, he actually did move Classic Game Room to a different video medium where he had to pay for the episodes, I think. I think I bought some of those. Can't remember what. I know there's some I didn't. There was like a really long video he did about Pac-Man, I think. I can't remember 100%. But the name of the channel at one point changed to 80s Comics, which is a very weird transition to go from video games to comic books. And then there was like cars involved at one point, I believe. And then all of a sudden it became Turbo Volcano, where it was like all of a sudden a music channel where he was making music. But I don't think anybody was going back to his channel for this. I never unsubscribed to the channel. And then all of a sudden I see a video pop up from Classic Game Room. I was like, Classic Game Room back? And sure enough, he put up this video of, there's like a teaser trailer type of deal here. That was 11 days ago from now. And then they put up this Life and Death of Pac-Man on a Friday night video 8 days ago. I haven't watched this one, the new CGR glassware photo shoot from Earth. I think he's just kind of advertising these glasses he has. So, yeah, he's got this merchandise out as well. That was 7 days ago. I haven't watched this one for some reason. The Classic Game Room Ninja Golf for a PlayStation 5 review. I gotta get that one watched. But then also he put out Tempest 2000 for PlayStation 5 review. And this is the one that actually caught my eye. And when I watched it, I was like, wait a minute, is he back? I think he's back. So I think it's important that I mention that he's back if I'm doing something like this. Because if you're familiar with Classic Game Room, you may not be aware that he's back. So check it out. If you're not familiar with Classic Game Room, check it out. That's all I could say. Very last thing I want to mention is a video game summit. This is something I go to every year. It didn't happen last year for one reason or another. I know that they've had problems with certain locations over the years. This is actually an event that I had a vendor booth table at one point when I first started selling off my collection. This was way back in like 2012 or something. I've been selling games, my collection off that long. But yeah, I had a booth at that table, made a good amount of money from that too. Way more than I expected. And then after that is when I started putting stuff on eBay. I was like, whatever doesn't sell, I'm going to start putting it on eBay. And I did. the reason back then I was selling stuff is because I wanted a pinball machine. Now I have 4 pinball machines. 3, depending on whether you want to count Hyperball as a pinball machine or not. The Video Game Summit is this Saturday, July 8th. And it's funny because I thought this was at the end of the month, but I guess it's near the beginning of the month. So it's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the McCook Athletic and Exposition. It's called the Max, pretty much. What the funny thing about this is it's McCook, Illinois. This is literally like 5 or 10 minutes away from my house. This is the closest any event has ever been to where I live. So I have no excuse not to go. What's even funnier than that is it's literally like across the street from where my wife works. Now we're going to go over there. I like checking out all the vendors, just hanging out over there. And it'll be a little bit different this year, I think, because what I looked for, well, I guess it's not any different than the last time I went 2 years ago. 2 years ago when I went there, I wound up buying an Intellivision and a whole bunch of games just because I wanted to get an Intellivision again. So I'm probably not going to sell that stuff off. But that's probably all I'm going to be looking for now when I'm considering collecting things is I'm looking for Commodore 64, Atari 8-bit computer stuff, Atari 2600, possibly Intellivision. One time I saw vinyl records there, so if I might look into the vinyl records if somebody has those again. But that's all I really look for now. That's all I really want to collect for now. And a lot of the other stuff I can do without, I think. Like even the Genesis stuff. I think I might sell all the remaining Genesis games I have. And I'm probably going to keep the system just in case. I could always get an EverDrive or something. I could still hook that up to a CRT and play it. But I don't think I'm ever going to play any of these games again, especially when I could just emulate them far easier than having to pull out the console and set it all up and everything. Like I have this stuff and I never play it, so why do I keep it? But yeah, if you're interested in the Video Game Summit, if you're in the Chicagoland area or willing to make a trek out to the Chicagoland area, now keep in mind this is a pretty small show. It always has been, but that's what I like about it. So don't expect something huge or anything. It's not even a fraction of the size of the Midwest Gaming Classic. Or any other event that you could think of, any other major event that you could think of for that matter. But if you're interested, the website is videogamesummit.net. And I found out, like literally yesterday, that I could pre-order tickets, but it was a weird way to pre-order tickets because you basically had to fill out a form saying you wanted to pre-order the tickets, send out the form that you wanted to get the tickets, and then they'll email you back how to buy the tickets. And based on the method you picked, and I picked PayPal, so then I had to go follow the instructions to submit the payment via PayPal. And then after I did that, then they sent me my tickets. So I think that could be done better in the future if they do that. But the reason I pre-ordered, well, one, just to have it already paid for. It's only $10. Entrance is $10. There may be a fee for parking. It's what my wife tells me. But they didn't mention that anywhere on this website. So I don't know if there's like a $5 parking fee or not for this event in particular. But she said usually there is a fee. I kind of, like if they did mention it, I didn't see it. But yeah, again, it's you could always go paying cash too when you show up. That's how I always used to do it. So you could just come in with your $10 and go in. But apparently if you pre-order, you get early access or something. So I'm not sure if that early access begins at 10 a.m. or if it's even earlier than that. I'm just not aware. I might have to look into that. Maybe I could look into that now. All right, I've been looking for quite some time. I can't find anything about this early access if you pre-order tickets. So it just might be that, I don't know, maybe I imagined it, but it might just be that if you have the ticket, you don't have to wait in line to pay. You can just show them the ticket. Maybe that's all that means. Because it doesn't say anything about, you can only come in at 10 o'clock if you pre-ordered your tickets. But although I would imagine that if you did pre-order, you'd just get in first because you don't have to go in and do any monetary transaction. But yeah, I would imagine the next episode I do, I'll be talking about the Video Game Summit for sure. All right, so let's get on to our main topic here, which is how I got to where I am now on YouTube. Now, I originally made this YouTube channel. It was back then it was called Crow 111 with the ones. It was 4 O's and 3 1s. And the only reason I made the channel was so I can watch videos and mark them as favorites so I could go back and watch them again later if I wanted to. That was the only reason I made this channel. Let's see here. If I go to the About section on my channel, joined May 23rd, 2006. I didn't start making videos for YouTube until 2009, and that kind of is the case. But if we go look at the videos, and we look at the oldest videos here, 17 years ago, I put up this Ragnarok Online video, really, really poor quality because it was like capture, really poor capture at the time. Same thing, here's another, this is 17 years ago and then 16 years ago, a year apart, same game, huh? And then I started posting videos of stuff that I had already made. There was a time in which I was like making videos with 2 VHS players. So then I started posting those videos that I had already made up to YouTube. This Hot Shots Golf 3-1 is one of them. And I originally had a different song over there, but then when YouTube had changed and started copyright striking stuff, I changed the audio out on that. So the audio doesn't really go as good as what I had originally put on there, which was White Zombies More Human Than Human, although, you know, if you look at the comments, some people didn't agree with that either, but whatever. It was just something I did, okay? And it was never really intended to go out onto a public forum, but I wound up doing that anyway. It was just something I did for me. This Titanic by 5th graders. That wasn't done by me at all. It was a video that my sister had made in school with her class, and I just wound up getting a copy of it. I just posted it on YouTube. Disaster in Toyland is actually a video from 1979. This was something my dad did with my toys. My dad, my uncle, and stuff made this video using 8mm camera footage, I think. Katamari Rush was just kind of another experimental video. That was just, I had recorded the last level on Katamari Damacy, and I just sped up the footage 10 times, and I thought it was kind of interesting. So a 30-minute video wound up being a 3-minute video. But then we time jump. There's a whole bunch of stuff here you're not seeing because those videos are not on this channel anymore, and those were the video game quick clips videos. So what I would do, and I had done this in the past, is I'd record game footage, and then I'd edit up clips of it, and I'd just make one short video kind of showcasing the game. And I just kind of did that using 2 VCRs. I did that for a long time. I don't know why, but I did. I did it for like almost every PlayStation 1 game I played and a lot of the PlayStation 2 games I played. And I kind of stopped doing that. Then I started doing it for YouTube specifically. So, you know, Atari 2600 games, basically any game I had. My initial goal was I'm going to make quick clip videos for every game I own. That never really happened because I kept gaining games faster than I could make videos. There's a reason they're not on here anymore, and I'll get to that when the time comes. But then we had, you know, room tour. It was a while before I actually put my face in front of the camera, and this might be it here. This pickups video 13 years ago. Look at that. I even was kind enough to myself to put the date, December 27th, 2009. The whole year, maybe even 2008 through 2009. The quick clip videos I was posting. I still continued to do that even while I was doing this. But then after a while, this Vectrex Multicart Part 1, Part 2, wound up getting a Vectrex with a multicart, and I made a 3-part series just playing games off of that. And that was the genesis of the Crow Plays series. This was back when YouTube had like a 10-minute time limit. So that's why it's broken up into 3 parts. And then there's another game review and pickups. So that's basically what this channel was at first. It was just gameplay footage edited to smaller, you know, a feature of the game. It was me, you know, with pickup videos and game reviews. Now the game reviews didn't last long. That kind of transitioned to the Crow Plays videos where I just play the game. Wow, I look so different back then. But then this was, there's a lot of these videos where Crow Plays Berserk, and it's like a 3-camera setup, which was unique way back then. Nobody really did this. Nobody had a 3-camera setup. So yeah, the main game with the captured footage, and then I had a camera on. You know, it was funny back then now that I think about it, but I had a camera on the console just to prove that I was not emulating the game, because emulation was a thing that a lot of people didn't like back then. Oh, you're emulating a game? No, that's not really playing the game. Nowadays, it really doesn't matter to me at all. I think I'd rather play emulated than the actual hard. I mean, playing the actual hardware is good and everything, as long as you're playing on a CRT. But playing these old consoles on an HD TV really doesn't work. You're better off emulating it, I think, at that point. Only if you're hooking up to a CRT, in my mind, is where you'd want to play the original hardware. So even though I said the Vectrex ones were, I consider to be the first of those Crow Plays videos, it wasn't really until I started showing me and the game that was the staple of these Crow Play videos. And that continued on for quite some time. Around 2012, I took all of the quick clip videos that was just anything, almost everything that was just game footage and no commentary, I flat out deleted off this channel. In hindsight, I kind of wish I had just unlisted the videos, but at the time, YouTube really started cracking down on copyrighted stuff, and I wasn't sure if just gameplay footage without any commentary or anything would have been affected. So to reduce the chance that something would happen to the channel because I did that, I took it all off this channel and I created a second channel. And that second channel is this channel, which is called Crow Capture, but that's not what it was called back then. Back then, it was called Video Game Quick Clips. And if we look at our oldest videos here, 11 years ago, let's look at it, what year? Oh, 2011. It was a little bit earlier than I thought, but I was thinking 2012. But October 9th, 2011 was the start of the Video Games Quick Clips channel. And that was just where I had put all the stuff that I took off of my main channel, which was at the time Crow 111. Now, at some point, I had renamed the channel Crow 111 to Crow with 3 exclamation points after that. I think I had put 111 after that because I didn't think I could put exclamation points. I think maybe that was the case. And then when I realized, I could put exclamation points and I can change the name of my channel, I changed it to that. After all, the ones were what I was calling the shiftless explanation points, because I wanted them to be exclamation points to begin with, but I didn't think I could put exclamation points, so I put ones instead. So that's how this channel got started. Crow Capture was originally Video Game Quick Clips. One thing that people had mentioned that they were kind of mad about is because I had deleted the videos. I deleted, in fact, all the conversations they had under those videos. In fact, some of them, and I was unaware of it at the time, had comments from the people that developed the games, and people were talking back and forth, and I didn't even realize that when I deleted it, only after the fact. It's too bad that you can't just say to YouTube, I want to move these videos and move everything along with it. That would have been a nice feature, and they still don't have that. Things went on just like that for quite some time. Crow Plays videos, pickup videos, a lot of pickup videos, a lot of Crow Plays videos. I was putting out like maybe 3 a week at one point. I would like record a whole bunch of them one day and then edit them all really quick and put them out. But that got kind of boring after a while. I think the whole series kind of puttered out too, because it seemed like not a whole lot of people, more people were watching pickup videos than Crow Plays videos, I think, at one point. I guess it would depend on the game too, whether or not it got a decent amount of views. But again, I was just making the videos because I like to make the videos. Back then, I was actually using Pinnacle Studio, and I was using that because it was the only thing I really knew since 2000, since the year 2000. I converted home videos using Pinnacle Studio, so that's just what I kept using. And I kept buying the new version every year. I kept spending like $80 to $100 every year for the newest version of Pinnacle Studio, hoping it would solve the problems I was having, and it would solve some problems and then create new ones that didn't exist before. So a couple of years ago, I switched to Adobe Premiere, and I was only paying for Adobe Premiere because it was like it's a subscription thing. So I didn't like the fact that it was a subscription thing, but then I was thinking, you know what, if I'm spending $100 a year anyway on Pinnacle Studio, it's almost like a subscription. So I went ahead and paid for that. And eventually I just broke down and I started paying the full $55 a month for the entire Adobe suite, so I could have a Premiere and Photoshop and that's all I really wanted together. But then I started looking into After Effects because that's, you get everything with that bundle. And Audacity instead of, Audition, Adobe Audition I started using instead of Audacity because I was paying for Audition. All right, so around this time, I didn't really know what I would do, and I was starting to watch a channel called the Space Quest Historian, and I was really enjoying watching his Space Quest playthroughs, and I was thinking, hey, why don't I do something like that? And I started doing this series of Leisure Suit Larry. I was going to play through every single Leisure Suit Larry game, and I did, Leisure Suit Larry 1, I did 2, and I did 3. But before the last part actually had finished, I had made a change that drastically changed this channel. I had renamed it from Crow, and part of the reason I wanted to change the name is because people couldn't remember how many O's were in the name. I wanted to change it to something simpler, and I also decided I wanted to focus in on one topic, because I'd been watching all these videos on how to make a successful YouTube channel, and one of the things was like, well, focus in on one thing and specifically. And since a lot of the Pro Plays videos I were doing were pinball related, and those were getting the most views, and I got the feeling that people were watching the channel for pinball. So I switched this to an all pinball channel. So it was called Crow Pinball. And you'll see that after a certain point here, all of a sudden we get Yoku's Island Express, which is kind of pinball related. The Flip Grip. I occasionally would dabble outside of pinball anyway. So when the PS Classic came out, I did a video on that. But then it was just, okay, I switched it to pinball only. Here's the video where I kind of announced that. No, actually, I take that back. That was after the fact. Most of the pinball videos aren't here anymore, and there's a reason for that. If it was anything other than Pim Arcade, Pinball FX, and Zachariah Pinball, it was off of this channel. So that's why there's pretty much a kind of a gap here of 2 years with very few videos, because there used to be a lot more videos. It's just that I moved them because this point here, 3 years ago in 2020, I renamed the channel again, and I renamed the channel to The Crow Continuum because I decided I didn't want to do just pinball videos, even if that's what the suggestion was to really grow a YouTube channel. I ultimately decided I don't really care about growing the YouTube channel. I'd rather make videos that I want to make. I'm not looking to make a business out of this. I just want to have fun. It's a hobby. It's a hobby of something I want to do. So I'm going to make videos that I want to make. It'd be helpful if I'd made videos that I wanted to make and people wanted to watch. And, even to this date, I still haven't figured out exactly what that is. But I have somewhat of an idea. And, to me, all that really matters is, just making a video, editing. For me, I guess I have a weird point of view on YouTube where I like editing videos, whereas most people just want videos out there to gain subscribers and earn money to try and make a living off of it. That is not going to happen I don't want that to happen. I have a stable job that makes that I'm pretty happy with the salary with. So why would I want to change that and switch to something that's totally unstable? So yeah, I like putting videos out there and hearing the responses and, the back and forth and maybe responding back and forth. That's one of the things I missed that doesn't really happening anymore is the community responses, I guess, tag videos in a way, or, what are your 5 favorite fighting games or something like that. And then everybody would come up with their answers and you'd watch those and you'd be like, well, I never heard of that game. And you'd go look it up. And it was just a way to open avenues to discover more things. But yeah, those days are gone where you could actually tag somebody and then do a video response and have that video response literally be attached to that main person's video. Instead, they expected you to post it in the comments. But how many people actually scroll through the comments of every single video? So if you have a question about something, you might type it in and it might get lost in everybody else's comments. And only if multiple people have asked the same question might that question get answered, I guess, especially for a bigger channel. But yeah, I went back and different thing here. I started playing Animal Crossing. And then, just trying different things, nothing. It was so hit and miss as to what was getting more views than the other thing? Why did this My Arcade Namco Museum video get almost 3.9 thousand views? And why does this What's Inside Streets of Rage 4 Classic Edition unboxing video get 3.4K views? But then me talking a video about Persona 5 Royal get 207. But at a certain point, and this was about, look at it, there's a Video Game Summit 2021 video. That was actually the last time I was there. There was no 2022 video. But about a year ago, we're about approaching that time here, big changes in the Crow Continue-verse. This was, at this point in time, almost a year ago. What I did was I created 2 new channels, and I renamed the other 2 channels. So I created a new channel called Crow Pinball, and I moved all the pinball content to it. I still didn't make videos on that like I was expecting to, so I started streaming once a week on that channel, and that actually does pretty well. I think people enjoy that more than if I were to make a video based on each table. I have a poll up, vote on which table is going to be played, and that's the one I play for that week. Another new channel I made was Crow Evercade, because I had started making a whole lot of Evercade videos, and then what wound up happening is on this channel, I had people that were watching the channel for Evercade stuff. I had people watching for pinball stuff, and there was a little bit of crossover, but I was like, how do I fix this where people want to watch like every video I put out? And then it just hit me. Why don't I just split into their own channels? Because the reason I didn't do that before, I think, was just because it was more difficult to manage multiple channels back then. It's a lot easier to do now. And then I did rename the Video Games Quick Clip channels to Crow Capture, just to keep in line with the Crow theme. It was Crow something. And then the Crow Continuum just wound up becoming Crow Continuum to be more simplified. And that's where we are now today. The Crow Continuum channel, because of the split, I was expecting it to happen. I did lose a whole lot of subscribers on this channel. And to this date, I still get a negative gain in subscribers. But I'm still over 12,000. And actually, I think I lost around 1,000 subscribers over the last year on this channel. And to be honest, that is far less of a loss than I thought it would be. I thought I'd be back under 10,000. But then Crow Capture, this is really, I'm not really making videos on this channel for people to sit down and watch every single video. But basically, it's more of a, some people are interested in, if they're looking up a game and they want to see footage of the game without any commentary, I'm just putting up videos like that here. I'm not really expecting anybody to be subscribed to this channel, but yet there are 743 people subscribed to this channel. So go figure. And then we got this Crow Pinball channel, which has, it recently broke 1,000 subscribers. So 1.13K subscribers. To be honest, I was expecting this to grow a little bit faster than it actually did, because I thought a lot of people were watching the other channel because of the pinball content, but it didn't really grow as fast as I thought it did. In fact, what shocked me is the fact that the Crow Evercade channel actually has more subscribers than the Crow Pinball channel. It's got 1.38K subscribers. And I was thinking about it. I think maybe the reason this had grown faster is because I've really been focusing on this channel the most. I've been wanting to play through all the games and make a video on it. And like I said earlier, this is the channel where people are wanting to see the videos. They're actively asking, when's the next video coming out? And the problem is it takes me time to make the video. Literally, by the time I come out with the video, it's already 6 months has already gone by before this had been released. Indie Heroes 2 was released last year, and yet I just posted a video on it almost 2 weeks ago. The Toaplan Arcade 2, I think, was one of the first ones this year, and we're already over halfway through the year, and I'm still working on it. I don't know if I'll ever be caught up, to be honest, at this point. Because after Toaplan Arcade 1, I still got Counter 64 2. And was the other one? Pico 3, I think. So, but then by the time, before I even get to those, I'll probably get the next 2 releases at the end of this month. So Will there be the time where I'll be caught up on this? Probably not. So I'm kind of rearranging things. I had to rearrange things in a way where I could actually be putting out content on the other channels while also still working on videos for this channel. That's where we are now. That's what's going on. All my time is spent on this channel, Crow Evercade. I was planning on doing pinball videos, like a video on each pinball table, like I had been doing, but since I was spending all my time on Crow Evercade, I barely had any time to make videos I put out a couple, but then I was like, well, maybe live streaming might be better on that. Well, actually, I first had that thought for Crow Continuum. It's like, because I really hadn't been making videos for that channel, and I thought about streaming every Sunday. And I was like, well, that's a great idea. I'm going to stream every Sunday. And then as soon as I had that idea, I was like, well, I could do the same thing for the pinball channel. But the thing is, there's way more interactivity and interest in me streaming those pinball tables than there are me streaming random Steam games. So that is why I am going to at least stop doing the streaming for now and do this type of video / podcast on this channel. So that is the whole history of me on YouTube and why things have shifted to the way they are now. So we've got the Crow Continuum, which will be this type of video, at least going forward until I change my mind and decide that things aren't working out. But hopefully I'll stick with this for at least some time. And if we do get enough participation in the comments and stuff, I will keep doing this. I even had second thoughts about doing this last night. I was thinking, people really would be interested in listening to this. Who knows? Only way I can find out is if I do it. And then, if things work out, I keep them. If things don't work out, I tweak them. That's what we're going to do. And then we got the Crow Pinball channel, which has become now just streaming once a week, pretty much. Also reaction videos on announcements that Zen Studios is putting out. And then there's the Crow Evercade channel, which is the videos on the collections and also, again, reaction videos to videos that Blaze puts out about the Evercade. And they're going to come out with one later this month, I believe. There's one earlier last month that I reacted to, and that was about Duke Nukem coming to the Evercade later this year with a whole other variation of the Evercade VS console. I'm looking forward to getting that. That looked really awesome. I pre-ordered that. It was funny. That was one of my best Evercade channel videos. And the title of that video is called Watching This Video Cost Me $167.76. That turned out really good. It's so funny when I can do a reaction video that takes me absolutely no time to edit, and it gets more views than a video that I spent like up 2 months making. But you know what? I'm more proud of that video that I spent 2 months making than the video of me reacting to another video somebody else made. But, that's the way things work on YouTube, I suppose. So, I think we're going to wrap up this episode. That's pretty much all there is. I know in the next episode, I might be talking about more Steam games. The summer sale's still going on. And I don't think there's been a Steam sale yet where I've just bought a whole bunch of games at the beginning and then nothing at the end. Because what winds up happening is people buy games during the Steam event. I see it through the activity, and then I wind up looking it up, and I say, I want to buy that too. So there might be more of that. And then also the Video Game Summit. This next one will be after the Video Game Summit, which is later this week. So I'll probably be talking about that for sure. That might be the main topic next episode. I hate saying episode, but I guess episode. I also might talk about anything else people may want me to talk about in the comments. Maybe I'll even read off all the comments. Who knows? Depends on how many comments there are. Leave it at that. I'll see you next time, but you'll hear me next time, maybe. I don't know. If you're watching, you'll watch. If you listen, you'll listen. That's the way it works here. See you next time.